Good evening, good night. Thank everybody for coming to this event and to משכנות שאננים International Festival, פסטיבל הסופרים והסופרות של משכנות שאננים. תודה לכולם שבאתם. This conversation will be in English. I hope it's okay with everybody. I know I always apologize for my English and for Payam's Hebrew. We will manage. We will do it together. So again, good night and good evening. My name is Ron. I will be your host for tonight. I'm a poet and a writer, and I met Payam, I think like 6 months ago, something like that. Yeah, in Haifa, where he lives in Haifa. And I'm very, as you can see, I'm very, excited to be here and to have this conversation again. I will introduce Payam, and then Payam will read a little bit from his new book. This is the book. It's called Madame Zona. Yeah, that's the name. We can talk about that later as well. Yeah? No, yeah, it's very important. And yeah, so if you don't know, maybe you know Payam Feili. He was born in Iran. He's a poet and a writer. He was taking part in the במחאות in Iran, and you know, the government was trying to catch him, actually, yeah? Like he said, אני הייתי האידיוט היחיד שהודה שהוא גם שונא את השלטון וגם הומוסקסואל. כן, and yeah. So, after a few years like that, he actually escaped to Istanbul. He lived in Istanbul. How many years you live in Istanbul? How many months? Around 2 years you live in Istanbul. Constantinopolis. And then in a weird way, like in his word, he jumped to Israel. Like the first question I asked him, how did you come here? And he said, I didn't came, I was jumping here. I jumped to Israel. In 2016, he was invited by Miri Regev at the time. She did something good in her life, and she, yeah. And since 2016, he's in Israel. He wrote 2 books that was translated by Orly Noy, who is here, and we are very proud to have you here, and thank you for coming. Thank you very much for coming. Like it was. Let's start and say it was all Orly's job. Okay, she brought. She knew Payam from before, and she translated from Persian to Hebrew. So, all the thanks for you for bringing us this beautiful and talented writer and poet. We are waiting for you to translate these poems. Actually, what's going on with that? So, today, come and take your place. So today I will talk with Payam about his writing and about his time in Israel and about this unbelievable story that every time I think about it, I don't know how to tell it. Honestly. Yeah, you're still shocked by yourself. But we will start. Payam will read for us from his book. He will read in English. The first chapter from his book, that you can all enjoy the huge talent that we have here. So, Payam, if you want to say a few words and then read, you can do that.
First, it's working? Yes. First, I'm really glad to be here after a long time having writing actions. Just first, I want to read the first chapter. Just first, I want to say I really feel guilty for this book because when I started to write it and almost when I finished it, I was in one of the most dark period in my life. I missed a lot of things being Palit in Israel, and you know it's not easy, and also other things. So when I look back at this book, if I was writing it now, it could be more positive, but I'm sorry that it's not. the 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 title of the first chapter is Staunch and Strong, but Absent-Minded. Life in Israel is not easy. Compared to Iran, it's much easier. Life in Israel is not easy, not inside the walls of Jerusalem and not in Tel Aviv, among people's feigned happiness that reeks of misery and old wood. The dregs of that same happiness people put on display in the wake of a disaster. It had been a year since I arrived in Israel, and I was alone almost all day or all night. Everyone had somehow run away from me, or I had somehow run away from everyone. I think my lifestyle threatened people. In any case, it's normal. I too am sometimes afraid of people. I had rented in a small studio on Nakhalat Benjamin Street and spent all my time there. I no longer live with Rina. It had been 2 months since she had again taken to her bed. She ate nothing and said nothing. She was like that sometimes, many times. She would suddenly stop communicating with everything and everyone around her. Once, when she wanted to explain her life to me briefly and accurately, she said, "I am not in the game." And that's how it was. Rina wasn't in the game. It had been 20 years since she had given up on it. She was like that sometimes for weeks. She would stop talking and grow so quiet that I could hardly believe all those other times when her endless chatter would blow my brain. But even then, she sometimes spoke a few words to me, very few. She would ask a simple question, for instance, what I had eaten or where I had been. During those episodes, she wouldn't even return her mom's phone calls. Sarah would ask me about her. Has she eaten anything? Does she say anything? It had been about 2 months since Chaya had again relapsed into that state. Once every few days, I would head for her home. It was only a 5 minutes walk. I would cook something simple for her to eat, which she wouldn't eat. I would try to help her to take a shower, which she would refuse to do. She said she couldn't get out of the bed, and she couldn't. Sometimes she would stay there for weeks like a corpse. All that was missing was someone to record the time of death. I would try to make her talk a little, which she did and sometimes didn't. Back then, the route from my studio number 3 to Eliyahu Street to go see Rina on brink of death was my entire world, or all what I saw of world. The people, the streets, just a few minutes walk. Sometimes when I went there late at night, I saw no one along the way. I would be all alone, so some nights Amnon would come to see me. And once in a while in the afternoon, I would go to Rothschild to smoke hashish and watch the children. Their games and laughter. Children give shape to happiness. Not having them could be a profound regret. They give you a strange energy, the kind that helps you tolerate the passage of time. They are innocent and impartial. Carefree, they uninhibitedly run down the boulevard and often laugh out loud in a way that reveals how little they know about life. With their puffed up hair under the sun and their slim, pale pink fingertips, I'm sometimes afraid of them. I'm often afraid of them. They are the possibility of life. And with those small, often chubby hands, they can rob you of your only possibility of death or hide it somewhere out of reach. Mothers who commit suicide are strange people, strange and of course deadly despondent, staunch and strong but absent-minded, strangers who at home with their children think of their aimlessness and pay ransom to their deadly loneliness. I couldn't be the mother who one day leaves home for a hotel and never returns. My guess is that even if I were to walk out of 1,000 desolate homes 1,000 times, in the end, I will again empty the bottle of Valium in a bin, go back and think of something for dinner. Of course, I'm not certain of this, but it's not worth the risk. Children turn the equation around. I don't want that. I don't want those small chubby hands that often come to you at daybreak to rob me of my death or hide it somewhere out of my reach. I must always be sure that I can die without no attentions, especially to children. With them, things become complicated. My guess is that I must always protect my death and not allow anyone to hold it beyond my reach. No. I will not be deceived by Tel Aviv and children. Anyway, I'm afraid of both. Of course, the things I'm afraid of are not few. For instance, the shrink of ambulances that suddenly hurl you from Tel Aviv's content womb to Iran and its chaos in 1987. To the war between Iran and Iraq. To the dark years of war and the long lines for medicine and food. To the sound of sirens and the caving in of everything everywhere and the stampede toward bomb shelters. Before crash landing in Israel, I knew Tel Aviv as a cheerful city, or better said, I did not know Tel Aviv. It was the same during those first few weeks. I thought of Tel Aviv as a city lounging under the Mediterranean sun with a smile on its face. Far from all the turbulence, but it didn't take long for me to realize that the smile is fake and the Mediterranean sun is fake, and the spirituality of at the walls of Jerusalem is fake. Even the smiles of passers-by and the warmth that emanates from their hands is, in the end, the sort of lie fools tell each other when they are in a bind. The first few days, I felt people here were happy and had 1,000 excuses for it. But it wasn't so. No one looks for an excuse to be happy the same way that no one looks for anyone else. It's like losing your capacity for happiness due to an excess of tragedy. It's like not looking for any excuse at all after everything has come to the end. People here are mostly alone and afraid. And those who are not alone are afraid of ending up alone or abandoned. It's easy to see how with every passing day, they become more absorbed in this fear and smile more proudly. No, I will not be deceived by Tel Aviv and children.
Thank you. When I think about your story, I think about it was supposed to be something else. It was supposed to be a story of redemption. Yeah, the Iranic poet that comes to Israel and everybody accepts him, and he becomes famous and rich. But this is not the story that's in this book. The story in this book is a very hard, dark, and very sad story, actually.
So as I told you, actually I came with a big hope here. I was sure I will not have any balagan to get the papers. I thought this wandering from Iran to Turkey, city to city, will be finished, but actually it didn't. It took me like 5 years to get to this situation that I am now. So compared to all this situation, I started to write this so dark, and as I told you, maybe now I could do it differently.
Yeah.
But at that time, that was what I did.
Yeah, but I think about the experience. You come into Israel. Let's start with that. What is your connection to Israel? Why did you choose, in a way, to come to Israel? How did it all started?
I really don't know.
Yeah.
No, maybe
It's a good question.
No, maybe in those days, if you were asking me, it was more clear to answer because I was wondering. I was looking for a land. I was looking for a home. Try to make connection with. We need this.
Yeah.
Try to make a lot of connection with organizations who helps refugees, gay rights, things. But we didn't succeed, so I felt kind of lost. But suddenly at the same time, I got an invitation from US, and like after 2 weeks, Miri Regev started to make this art. I don't know from where. I'm happy that she did it. So suddenly I was confused between getting lost in US or Israel, so I chose Israel. I thought it's closer and the same culture or things.
Yeah, when we talked, and I said, look, you gave up an opportunity to go to USA, to teach in a university, and basically all your needs will be taken care of in the USA. And you said, yeah, but it's not the Middle East. I prefer to stay. I can't even say it. He said, you said, I prefer to stay in the Middle East. I like the balagan of the Middle East. You gotta explain that to the people here, because I think if we ask everybody here, they will say, go for the US. Yeah, go for the US suggestion, yeah?
I got a lot of messages from Israelis at the beginning, don't come, yes. So
Yeah.
no, anyway, I'm happy that I came. What was the question?
Yeah, why did you pass the US suggestion and you
I'm a
came
little
to this
autistic.
balagan, to this?
No, first I think not prefer. I'm addicted to this balagan, and about. I think I'm a little autistic to jump to US from Iran. That was the when I left Iran. I was almost 30 years, and that was the first time I left Iran like a little kid. So it was really too much to jump to Pennsylvania. So I thought I really didn't know Israel. We don't know a lot in Iran about Israel. We see things in the news. So I thought, okay, this little democracy, beautiful one in Middle East. Maybe I jump here. So,
I couldn't rephrase it
no.
better. Yeah,
What
I
happened?
couldn't say it better. A beautiful
don't-
democracy in the Middle East.
The only one.
The only one. No, we are joking, but I will.
I'm not joking.
No, we are joking, but I will tell you something. Like the first time I met Payam was in Haifa, was in the summer when bombs was falling in Haifa, and I told him, "Are you scared? There is war now," and he said, I'm not afraid. We have a strong and big army. They will take care of us. They will take care of me. You still think that? You still
Think that.
Yeah?
What changed?
I don't know.
All
What
these
changed?
beautiful young people going and risking their life because of us, so we need to appreciate. No, nobody likes war. We don't like to kill each other. Nobody like that. But if there are people who risk their life to protect us, so maybe, you know.
Yeah, there's the thing. I think there is a gap because this book is basically about Tel Aviv. Okay, it's about the years in Tel Aviv. Yeah, the years that you spend in Tel Aviv, the difficult years that you spend in Tel Aviv. It's not an easy book in any way. It's a book about being a refugee, actually, about being a refugee in Israel, about drugs, about death, about people who live sideways, about people who have nothing to lose. Yeah. And then, but then when I asked you, I said, listen, this book is about Tel Aviv. And you told me, you are wrong. This book is about Tehran. So you got to explain I want you to
New
explain.
me. I don't know how to explain this. This is how I hear.
Why this book is
This is
about
about
Tehran? It's
No,
not
because
about Tel
it's
Aviv.
about somebody who jumped from Tehran to see Tel Aviv. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Tel Aviv is Tel Aviv always.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was the view that I had.
Yes.
And it's a unique one, or good or bad, it's a unique one. Suddenly somebody not Jewish jumping to Israel. So what I see, it's so unique.
Yeah.
So in this case, maybe it's Tehran view. You know what I mean? The way that I saw this land from Tehran, somebody from Iran.
Yeah, but you came from Tehran to Tel Aviv, and like you said, you told me you don't know what it's like living in Tehran. I can write about Tel Aviv, I can write about Israel, yeah. But you say, Ron, look, you don't know what it's like living in Tehran. So why don't you tell us what it's like living in Tehran?
So I don't want to tell you because I don't want to make you depressed.
No, it's okay.
But
We are already depressed anyway. So what's more?
No, if you come from Iran, you know we have a lot of problem here. We have neighbors that they also have a lot of problems. It's not an easy mix. It's not an easy life. But for somebody like me that you come, I think after North Korea, Iran is the dark place on earth. I don't know, even worse than China, I don't know. So for somebody like me, it's like that I came from such a dark place and it's a lot of light here, you know what I mean? The fact that I chose this photo, it's because of the light, because I felt a lot of light. Maybe it was not a lot, but for me, from someone from Iran, it was a lot, and I almost got blind, you know, in this cultural shock in Tel Aviv. You know, everything is so open, and it was so much more different than what I had experienced. You know what I mean? So So
But still, the years in Tel Aviv, after all, you moved to Haifa. The years in Tel Aviv, the people that you meet, the people that were dying, the people who died,
I was living with.
that you were living with. So maybe you can tell us a few words about your time in Tel Aviv and living in Tel Aviv and living as a refugee in Tel Aviv, living as a refugee from Iran in Tel Aviv.
No, it's not easy at all. You know, from any place, it's not easy to be nowhere. Even in Europe, that they have a good services for refugees. So what? To be a refugee in Israel, you know, the process can be years, 2 decades maybe, and nobody knows what will be at the end. And now, when I look at the situation, I say I was lucky. You know what I mean? To get into this situation. So.
What do you mean? Why lucky? Like
No, it could take me 15 years, you know what I mean? I came here with my dreams, and the government is not dreaming, you know?
speak the,
סליחה. They are not dreaming, unfortunately, you know what I mean? So, of course, it was not easy, but especially being from Iran, till now, after 10 years, even my neighbors are shocked. You know what I mean? And I'm not even Jewish, so it's a question. You know what I mean?
like, what are you doing here? Yeah, everybody asks you, what are you
Yeah.
doing here?
Can.
Why
I
did you
also
came
ask
here?
myself, no answer. No. Writing, yes.
Yeah, but you know, Payam is a poet. He's writing in even you told me you write in ancient Persian, yeah, not even modern Persian, yeah,
Classic Persian can.
classic.
No, never mind about this, but no, never mind how I write. It's like Torah one. So, I wanted to say that being like a Palit, okay, it was not enough difficult. Suddenly, after this 7th of October, I'm going to my job, and I see people are making faces. You know, before that, okay, Hamoud, this guy came from Iran, this dreaming guy. But after 7th of October, there was no mercy. You know what I mean? Usually people are so kind to me, especially, you know, Israelis are warm. And when they know you are far from family, they take care of you like family. But in the last year, I didn't feel this family. You know what I mean?
Hmm. You feel that people been like suspicious
Yeah,
and
can. And it was, I'm sorry, but it's a little silly because I'm the one who ran away from Iran. You know, I don't agree with what if they send us rockets or things. You know what I mean? But normally people they don't put difference between things. They see the news and they believe what they see. You know
so,
what I mean?
so it leads me to the next question. Do you feel like you represent something? I will ask again, because for me, in a way, it's very hard not to see you as a representative of something. It's a good question of what? It's a good question. Of, I don't know, I think maybe the tragedy of this place and the Middle East tragedy in whole. Because you know when we talked after like I don't know 1 hour when we talked, I told you, please tell me about Iran. Tell me about how does it look like. I want to go there. I want to travel there. Yeah. So I think for you in a way, yeah. Of course now we know each other. Yeah. So for me, you are Payam. You are my friend. But at the beginning, it's very hard to let go the representative way that I look at you. That you are from Iran, which is supposed to be our enemy, okay? We're not going into that. And you are here. You know? So do you feel like that? People look at you as a...
What was this question now? that I'm your enemy and I'm here?
No,
this is the
no,
question?
your enemy. What do you feel?
I don't feel I'm your enemy.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
no, of course not your enemy. But
No,
you feel like
people
you...
are not your enemy. The
But do
system.
you feel like you represent something here in Israel?
I don't want to do that
Yeah.
because it's heavy.
Yeah, it is.
My story is enough heavy. Now I need to represent I don't know what.
Yeah.
Maybe Persian people are so brave they can do what they want for themselves. They don't need me. Yes.
But do you miss your family? Do you miss Iran?
No, at all. Of course I did.
Tell me about
Maybe
it.
we have some plan, maybe we can meet. Of course they cannot come to Israel. They can come, they cannot get back. So maybe we are making some plan, maybe we can, in a few months, maybe we can meet somewhere in Europe. So this is the plan for now.
Yeah, you
Yes.
will see your parents. Tell us about your family.
No, we just so close. If you see me with we are five with my parents, but if you see us, you see just a few friends, because they are also connected. My mother is a poet. She's like always helping me in any cases, and the rest are interested to literature. So we have a deep connection, and I could never believe that 1 decade I will not meet them. I could never believe, but now I'm happy. Maybe there is a hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about before. We talked about. You said there's no hope, but now I feel like when I talk to you now, I feel like there is a little bit more hope in your in the way you think, in the way you are. That because
Because I'm also moody. I'm so under influence this beautiful night, so everything is okay now. But when I go back to my dark room, I don't have the same answers. I'm sorry, I'm moody. They record it. This is a problem.
don't worry about that. I must say, in this book, I think well, I didn't count it, but there is like more than 5 or 6 times that you try to kill yourself. Actually,
The last few years. Yeah.
the last few years, like when I
didn't succeed.
you didn't succeed. Okay, no. Unfortunately. When we met, you told me, look, I'm like that. You know, what is the name of your cat?
Ziggy.
When Ziggy is gone for 1 day, I think to myself, okay, I will kill myself. And then he come back, and then everything is okay.
Not only Ziggy, all the problem. The first option is
He's killing yourself. Okay, but then like when I met you now, I said, listen, you look very good, and I said, what's going on? You know, did you try to kill yourself in the last year? And he said, no, I'm perfectly fine. And then I asked you what changed, and you said, well, I got the papers. So you can maybe you can tell us about that, about not feeling as a refugee.
no. What happened?
Not feeling as a refugee, like.
I don't feel refugee now at all. Also, from the beginning, the way that people were treating me, people that never met me and helped me with food, with rent, having home, I was amazed. Why we started this?
Now, how do you feel now when you have a how do you feel now?
I don't feel a refugee anymore, but it was not easy because some people like me, we need insurance, we need bank account. I was living like a criminal, making black money, cash, no bank account, and it's unbelievable to live in our time without a bank account, without insurance, without a job, without that zoot. So at the beginning, I didn't feel almoni with people. With the system, I did. That all the anger comes from the system. As you see, I'm sababa with people. But now I don't really feel palit anymore.
If you have any question, yeah, please.
Easy one.
He's already exhausted.
No, I'm not.
In your first song that you read to us, you said that you are acquainted with Des Roberts. Can you send a Des Roberts to me and to my acquaintance to rob us our Des?
I didn't understand.
In the cases that you are disappointed,
You know someone who
like
robs
disappointing,
from others their Des. Didn't you speak about?
I didn't get the question.
מישהו הבין? אני סורי. תשאל אותי בעברית. כן,
הוא כתב על דמות
כן,
שודדת מאנשים את המוות שלהם.
כן.
אולי שישלח איש כזה אליי, שישדוד ממני את מותי.
אנחנו ננסה לעשות את זה בהמשך, אין בעיה. עוד שאלות? עוד מישהו שרוצה לשאול שאלה? כן, בבקשה.
That I trust Israeli? I did fuck them already, but it was another one. You know what I mean? I also wanted to show the anger because it was so difficult for them. If you remember in the news, they were, as Taham said, this fake news. They were trying. Oh, they were trying a lot to. I don't know what they were doing. It was so ugly. So that was the only reason I was so super happy that I saw them angry. Whenever they are angry, I know I'm right. This.
עוד שאלות? כן, בבקשה.
כתבת בספר שלך משהו על פנטזיה, שבחרת לבוא בישראל בגלל פנטזיה, ובאמת שאתה יכול לספר סיפור. איזה עוד בחירות בחיים עשית בזכות סיפור? לבחור סיפור.
This is a very good question. She said, like, which is true. You said you have a fantasy about how Israel is supposed to be, and obviously, it was not the same, and it was like the opposite.
I love it. You know why I love it?
No, but the question is this is the way you think, like from fantasy, from a story to reality?
First, I'm a Hazui guy, poet, from fantasy going to fantasy. I'm not so connected to the reality
Yes.
as you see, but
But the fantasy of Israel, yeah.
it was different and it was a little one. You know what I mean? I was fantasizing because we have also the same history. I met Israel in Rumi, in the classic Persian literature, you know? So in that case, I was close. But with the reality, what is Israel, you know, between this Middle East, this Jewish land, it was not the same as what I saw. I was fantasizing.
What were you fantasizing?
No, it was really little. When you don't have a lot of knowledge, you cannot fantasy a lot. You know what I mean? No, but what I remember, everything was sababa kind of. I knew we have Balagan with Gaza. I don't know where all the
Balagan with Gaza.
No,
yeah,
in the
that's
news.
unusual.
In the news, I could hear there is problem, but I didn't know it's that much. I thought, okay, time to time, a rocket, you know, Middle East. I'm used to it. But what I love, it was not like the same like what I was dreaming, but I found also something beautiful. Listen, I cannot lie to you about your country and tell you, wow, everything is perfect. Not a lot of things are perfect.
Yeah.
But we are Muslim, Jewish, this problematic, Ashkenazi, Mizrahi. But at the end, what is so beautiful about Israel, that is like a family. You know, a family that the big brother had a problem with the father, the parents fighting, but at the end they are a family, you know, Arab, Jewish, I don't know, whatever, Ashkenazim, everything. At the end they are so together and so close. I'm always amazed that in a bus, you know, two Israelis, suddenly they meet and they start to talk about everything, like they are family, they are brothers.
Yeah, but they will fight 5 minutes after that. You
Also,
know?
like a family.
Like
As
a family, yeah, like a
This
family.
is beautiful. Ken.
Yeah, yes, of course.
What was the influence of gay rights in Israel to your decision, number one? And number two, how much support did you get from the gay community in Israel when you were newcomer?
I got support and massive helps from all the community, also the gays. They did a lot. They took me like one of them. It was feeling good. And what was the first question?
The question was how much was the gay rights in Israel?
No, nothing. I didn't. I just knew Tel Aviv is a good city. And then I knew the gays love Tel Aviv. I didn't know nothing more. Ken, I even didn't meet all that beautiful boys, so it didn't influence my decision. But I didn't know a lot about it.
Yeah, but I must say again, like this is not an easy book. I'm sorry, but I keep saying that. Maybe today you will write it differently. But when I read the book, I thought, okay, there is some kind of mask, especially in Tel Aviv, the city itself and the people. And this Iranian poet and writer is like tearing off the mask off of us in a special way of looking at it, because you're not from here. You know what I'm saying? Because there is a lot of there's a lot of critics about the Israeli people, especially in Tel Aviv. Maybe you're not feeling like that right now when you live in Haifa and your life is more organized, yeah. But Tel Aviv, from this city, Tel Aviv is not a good city in any way.
It's a tough city. It's not an easy city. But at the beginning, you can get deceived. At the beginning, everything is so colorful, the sun, people are coming, going, Purim. But because they let me get into their life, you know, they took me like a family, so easy I go to their life, you know what I mean? So easy, suddenly I start with people that I never knew before. You know what I mean? I started to have close friends, and by the way that I saw their life, Tel Aviv was not a happy city.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of Valium, a lot of Abarbanel. You know what I mean? Half of the city are involved with Abarbanel. A lot of people, I was one of them for a while.
Yeah.
A lot of young, beautiful people got hurt from the army. They came back like a young age and then running after the psychiatrist, taking heavy medicine, you know. I saw the reality. Two of my friends in the short time, I missed them by committing suicide. So I saw something else in Tel Aviv. I don't know how you see it from here. Of course, much more and much more clear than me. Or I don't know how the
No,
tourists...
I don't know if much more clear. I think that's the thing. I think this is what's so good about this book. It's the way I will say it in Hebrew for 1 second. זו באמת הצצה חד פעמית למבט שאין לנו אותו. אין לנו אותו בחברה. אנחנו יכולים להסתכל מבפנים על החברה, אנחנו יכולים להסתכל מאיזשהו זר שבא לפה לביקור, נאמר, אבל אין לנו מבט אמיתי של פליט שמגיע מהמזרח התיכון, במקרה הזה איראן, עם כל המורכבות שלה, ומסתכל על החברה הישראלית ורואה מה שהוא רואה. והמבט הזה הוא ייחודי, צלול, לא קל, בהרבה מובנים. This is why I think, please don't be angry with me, but I think this is a very political book. Very political book.
Why do you think it makes me angry if it's a political book?
I don't know, because...
I will be happy.
Yeah, you'll be happy? Maybe because maybe you don't want it, because we talk about, you know, the...
No, I already fight with
representative way.
Ayatollahs, so with Netanyahu will be easier.
Yeah, no, but not political way in this way, in that way, but more like the way you look at the Israeli culture.
I was in a political situation.
Yes,
You know what
yes,
I mean?
yes.
Okay,
yes,
never mind about my autistic
Yes.
fantasying
Yes.
poet side.
Yes.
But in the other hand, I'm a, how they call it, activist maybe, gay right. I don't know how I was enough idiot to be gay activist in Iran, never mind. But
You are the only gay activist,
was,
idiot.
I will be. So it was, yes.
So yeah, I think it's like it's a political for us. Like I feel like you gave
I
us.
think it's political.
No, but I think like you gave us like a present. You know that we are not. אין לנו את המבט הזה. We don't have the way your look. Like it's very special. It's very unique.
Inside.
Yeah, not just like inside, because you came from Iran, because you can look at it. Yes, you have a not just another view, just like a unique view, and yeah, that's very important. Yes, please. בקול רם, בבקשה.
Like any other country. I was feeling the same also in Iran. You know what I mean? It's not this. It's not a. I'm not sure if it's connected to be with your homeland people or not. You can feel lonely everywhere, but I totally agree with you. This kind of getting lost. You know what I mean? And when I say Israel, of course, like any, especially Israel, that is a big mix. It's a lot of people here. So, like US, like Iran, you cannot say US people, Iranian people. People are different, different cultures. But I agree with you that it's so easy to get lost between them.
כן, בבקשה. ג'ולי. Yeah, when did you have the time?
No,
or the
actually,
place?
no, I didn't have time, even not laptop and even at home, so it was not easy physically to write it. But you should ask me, I mean, it was like a therapy. The only way that because I ran away from my land, I said a goodbye bye, I had no way to go back, and suddenly I found myself here like a cage. It was not like my dreams, everything was not going. So the only way I could run away to, it was this writing. You know, this Madame Zona kind of helped me to survive. As you see, the title is so angry. I was angry, and it helps me a lot to take off this anger, and that was the only place I had to run in those days.
Can you tell us more about your cooperation with Orly? How did it work? Did you know that you will translate your second book? You had
I was
connection between-
hoping. I didn't know. She really surprised me because if you know, it's a while that she has stopped translating and she's doing other things. But I just want to say it was like 15, 20, 12, 13, 15 years ago. I was this new writer with Ta'anim in Iran, and I heard
His first book, Ta'anim.
the
כן.
first book, and I heard Orly Noy in the news, it was kind of balagan, that she translated shalosh books from Persian writers, and all the three were successful. Everything was okay. So I just, as nobody, I was nobody exactly like now. So I wrote her, I think Facebook something, and I sent her the novel, and so kindly, she was so humble. She just accept to help me. You know, she was here, no connection. She even couldn't check me if I really exist, if this is my. But she trusts me, and from where we really become friends. But after the first one. When she stopped, so I was not really happy that I will be enough lucky to get the second, but she did it. I really appreciate it, Orly.
אני חושב שזה מדהים, ואתה יודע שאין לנו מספיק תרגומים מערבית, מפרסית, מכל השפות האלה, וכמה אנחנו, וואו, כמה אנחנו מפסידים שיהיה לנו את התרגומים האלה. עוד שאלות? בבקשה, כן. Persian, yeah.
Sometimes little times English because I speak with friends here. When I dream about friends, sometimes in English.
Do you still have connection with your friend in Iran? What?
No friend in Iran.
No
so
friend in
no
Iran anymore?
connection.
Yeah.
Just my family.
Just your family?
Yes.
You told me many of your friends also ran away.
Of my friend
Yes.
in Iran.
Yeah, in Iran when you were protesting and.
In the 2009.
2009.
Yes. This Green Revolution, they were
Yes.
calling it.
How do you
Yes.
call it?
Green Revolution.
Can you tell us about this time a little bit in Iran?
No, it was exciting time because that was the first time after the fucked up Revolution 79, the Ayatollah Revolution. That was the first time my generation, now I'm 40, I was 20 something, 26. So that was the first time my generation, we had the time to say to all these ugly ayatollahs that we hate you and go to hell. Okay, we didn't succeed till now, but it was super exciting. You know, after the 79, after Ayatollah, we didn't have a revolution. So we made one. We didn't succeed, and they are still, these brave people are continuing. But it was super exciting, dangerous and exciting. Many people got killed and run away.
Yeah. Any more questions? Yes, בבקשה אורלי.
I want to ask you kind of a question that I asked myself
Okay.
until today, although I'm much longer since I left Iran 1930. Let's say there is another revolution and Iran becomes really truly a democratic country. Would you go back?
Thank you for this question. I wanted to ask him exactly that.
Listen, it's a good question. I thought about it many times, but I didn't run away only from the government. Okay, I was in danger. I didn't know what will be, but I also ran away from the culture. Now I see the Z generation, like many other places, not Iran. They are connected with internet. They see the normal life in the world. So now I see everything is acceptable. You know, gay is not something, it was scary in my time to say that somebody, even close people, to know that you are gay. Now I don't know what is the atmosphere. But if they accept everything, I will be happy, but I want to keep my life here also. I like both, maybe.
I just wanted to add, like when I met you right now, like an hour or 2 hours ago, you told me I'm praying really hard that something will happen and I could live in this city of Jerusalem.
And she told me if I pray, it will happen.
She told you if you pray it will happen? יופי אורלי. יופי אורלי, באמת, נהדר. So you can go to the Kotel and put a paper then and ask for it. I think Jerusalem is perfect for you. I told you already. I think Jerusalem is perfect for you. Yes, please.
Now I think they use all these social media, but also in those times it was so secret, like putting numbers or going to Facebook dark groups, just knowing each other. But unfortunately, I didn't succeed all that years to meet a lot of people because they were afraid of everything, of any simple date. They could be in danger or things. So I don't know, really in my time everything was so dark, but now I hear better things. I think things changed with this Z generation.
Okay, עוד שאלות? So, let's talk about the future a little bit. You wrote 2 books.
עכשיו is future.
Now is future. You wrote 2 books that was translated to Hebrew, and you still keep on writing your classic Persian
Yes.
poem.
Poems.
What's the future for Payam Feili?
No, the future is, I hope in Hebrew, in Israel, I will have a little nice future because we work a lot on this little book, like 7 years with editing. So I'm a little hopeful with this. I hope people will like it. But the main one, all these poems in this classic way that I shared it already with Orly, I want maybe now, okay, maybe the Israeli society, the literature society, they know me as a writer, okay, sababa. But I want to show the poet side to the Persian community, to the Persian area, you know what I mean? So maybe I'm happy that my book can be translated, maybe English, Hebrew, it's good, but now I want to show off my talent in poetry.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of Persian communities in Europe that you
There
want
are,
that
yes.
you want that they will get to know your poems.
No, never mind about the community in Europe. I don't, talking about the Persian people especially.
The Persian people.
In the Persian literature, I want to show them what I did in the last few years.
I would just say that the first edition of Madame Zona is not available at the moment, but we know there is a second edition that will be published in a few weeks. So please keep כן, כן, תישארו מעודכנים, ואנחנו נשמח כמובן בקריאתכם. Yes.
If it was true, I don't know.
Oh, wow, good
I
one.
can
Nice.
do-
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
We welcome, of course.
Actually, I was hoping somebody will ask me this. No, because it's like when you need to cry, and it's like when you cannot. Whenever I write some Persian poem, it's like I'm ready to cry and there is no one around to read.
Sorry.
One day I will get used to this. רגע. Maybe you say something short till I find. اوکی. من که گفتم این جدایی می رود تا بدل گردد به دردی ماندگار، مثل جای نیش افعی روی دست خورده. من که گفتم این جدایی می رود تا بدل گردد به دردی ماندگار، مثل جای نیش افعی روی دست، نیم زخمی کوچک اما مرگبار. می توانستم ببینم بعد تو شاخه ها از سار خالی می شوند، تو آتش بعد از آتش بعد از آتش، من خمار اندر خمار اندر خمار. خوب می دانستم از فردای بعد گرچه دیگر نیستی تا بشکنی، یاد دست تو به جرم عاشقی می کند آینه ها را سنگسار. بیگمان دانسته بودم بعد تو حک نخواهد شد مگر با دست من، جای پای زخمیت بر تخت سنگ، رد خون عاشقت در جویبار. زیر تل خاک و خاکستر خوشم، رفتی و بعد از تو تنها نیستم، همچنان او که کنارم مانده است، انتظار است انتظار است انتظار.
Okay, I think that's it. We would like, yes, I would like to thank you. Thank Payam for being here. Thanks for אורלי נוי המתרגמת. תודה רבה למשכנות שאננים על המקום הזה, על הפסטיבל הזה, על האפשרות לדבר ספרות, רוח ושירה בתוך התופת שאנחנו נמצאים בה ובתוך הכאב. תודה רבה על זה. ותודה רבה לכם שבאתם. Thank you very much for coming.
תודה.
And please keep enjoying the festival. Thank you very much.
Buy my book and make me rich, בסדר?